Now it's an issue of, great, we've got them all the way to that point where we get to the real core of the new home experience, which is customization, configuration, personalization. I want to welcome to the stage here Dennis Webb from Fulton Homes.
I was number 2 guy at Eagleson's, and then one day he sold the company.
And you were done.
And I'm going, what do I do? You know, I need a job, you know. So I went to work for the company he sold it to for a year. Group out of St. Louis called Edison Brothers. Terrible people. Hated it. Traveled all the time. And then Ira had a non-compete clause. He couldn't hire anyone from the store for a year. But I kept in touch with Ira and Doug Fulton, his son, who's now the CEO. And we kept, we talked about things because, I'd worked with those guys for about 6 years at Eagleson's. And so he says, well, why don't you come over and we'll talk and everything. So he offered me a job. I said, well, I don't know anything about home building. And he goes, yeah, but you're really good at marketing and you got good skills and you're good at, people and things like that and you're creative and all that. And I said, okay, I'll do it. So picked up my family. Moved
to Phoenix.
Moved to Phoenix.
And there were 6 people living in Phoenix at the time?
There was 12.
Okay.
Altogether. And so that was 26 years ago.
Wow.
And so I've had a great time. I've learned a lot. And I've really kind of taken the retail thing and said, what can we do with retail that we're not doing in the new home building business? And I'm passionate about it. I've known Melissa and Tim for, I think, about 18 years.
Yep.
And they've been very important in our transformation into a digital leader in the country.
All right.
So that's my story.
Okay. You're going to have to go through my slides, though. I bet I have 2 or 3 slides here that I didn't use that you're going to have to click right over.
Okay.
Yep, look, there's a picture of you.
Yep. Oh, okay. So what I want to talk about is what builders ought to do but don't do in selling options. I'll kind of go through each slide here and kind of talk about each one. And if you do these things, if you do a couple of them, that's great. But you ought to be doing all of them. And all you'll do is make money if you do all of them.
Well, I think that what sometimes we forget is that options are the most profitable part of our builder business.
Yeah.
And options inherently are a retail business. We have more retail space than Target does in the United States. In fact, one of the top 5 builders, has more retail space, meaning their design centers and their model homes and sales centers, than Target does in the entire United States. We are retailers.
Yes.
The question is, are we managing our business with retail science?
That's the key. Okay. So the first thing is think like a retailer, not like a builder. Now, I think builders are great and they're nice people and everything like that.
Well, you're one of them.
I'm one. I'm a transplant. But they don't think like retailers. They don't think in terms of what does the customer want? What truly does the customer want? And then give it to them. And that's a retail thing. But we've in our company, we're really lucky because all of us have retail backgrounds. So it isn't just me, it's everyone. Ira Fulton, Doug Fulton, Norm Nichols, our president, he was a buyer, and so everyone has that thing. And so we run our company like a retail store, not like a builder. And we're different, The national people don't like us too much. They just don't. We get in their way. We're very critical, but they'll get over it. So I'm going to look at the first thing here. So if you're thinking like a retailer, so this is our showroom in Phoenix. It's 13,000 square feet, and we'll do $45 million there this year in that store.
So that's $45 million of just options.
Correct.
And your basic margin on those options?
30%.
30%. So you're now got $15 million of pure profit hitting your bottom line.
Right.
That's a pretty good retail store.
That's a great store. It's the size of a large Nordstrom store. Okay, and that's what we do. And but one of the things we do differently than other builders is we do things, we show a little bit more. We talk about the fun things. So we carry things like Bertazzoni kitchens and Wolf Sub-Zero kitchens and things like that, where everyone else will just show GE or Whirlpool or something like that. We try to get the buyer excited, okay? So we really think like a retailer and not like a builder. We need to hire people that love to sell options, okay? It sounds simple, but a lot of people go, no, I've got this gal, she's been at Taylor Morrison, and she was at Shea, and she was at Richmond American, and actually she's been very unsuccessful in all those places, but they figure out how to get rid of her, and the other person hires her and says, okay, you're going to do much better because we're a different builder. But they're not a different builder. They're the same builder. They're just doing the same thing all over again. So we hire passionate people. And we don't necessarily need to have people that have been selling new homes before, new home options before. You just don't need them. We'd rather hire people that are enthusiastic, great with people, and really care about the customer and care about the customer experience. The reason we built the Design Center in the first place was to elevate our customer experience. And everything else has been a byproduct. Number 3, be transparent. We tell the buyers what everything costs before they buy the house. We've been doing this for a long time, and the buyers we really appreciate it. I know we've talked about that before. You talked about it earlier this morning, Tim, when there's that transparency. And the buyers will trust you. So when we first started our design center, we didn't even have everything on our electronic, design. We had manufacturers that didn't have their product, and it's been a problem trying to get them in there. But then once we got everything in, then we priced everything. We price our flooring, we price cabinets, we price everything. So the buyer knows even before they come into the design center, or even before they buy a house, we tell them the price. And they're super appreciative of that. There's no other business I can think of that people don't tell people of the price that they sell. And I don't know of any other company.
It's one of the key anxieties that market research tells us in that customer journey, that kind of picture Melissa showed of the journey and all those yellow dots. One of those yellow dots is, I just don't know how much this house is going to cost, so I'm done. I'm going to go buy a used house. We know that's one of the key anxieties, so you've eliminated that. It's also one of the key issues that drives lack of trust.
Yes.
Because if you're not willing to tell me how much this home costs,
right,
it feels like you're being disingenuous.
And then they're going to say, well, they can't tell me this. What else aren't they going to tell me? Are they going to tell me about this problem that they have or something like that? No, they're going to be honest with them. So people are hesitant to tell prices because maybe their prices are too high. I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't tell your customers that are about to spend $500,000 or something how much stuff costs. It's just beyond me. So this is kind of funny. You look at markups, and yeah, we can make 30%, okay? But there's certain items that we're very careful with our markups, and we watch everything, and we don't just have a purchasing department and say, well, we're going to get a 40% markup on this stuff, we're going to get a 30% markup on this. We look at each individual item, okay? One of the things when we first started was we weren't selling appliances that well. And because we took a big markup. We took a 40% markup on refrigerators, okay? So someone would come in, and when we opened up this design center, people had iPhones even then, okay? We opened this design center in 2006. So we've been having this digital design center and all this stuff that the buyers can see for a very long time now. So it's something we just started last week. So if you see, here's our cafe refrigerator, and we're selling it for $3,075, and Home Depot's selling it for $3,500, $3,509, and then Best Buy's selling it for $3,508. So we're $500 less than these guys. Okay, that speaks volumes, because what happens is the buyer sees that and goes, well, gosh, if you're less than that on the refrigerators, what are you going to be like on all the other stuff?
And the other stuff's hard to compare.
Exactly. Exactly.
Brilliant. Very brilliant.
So,
see, I tell you, the guy's a genius, huh?
It's so simple. It really is simple. But just if you do 3 of these things, you're going to be more profitable than you were yesterday. Okay. Okay. 5th thing, or 4th thing. This is something that's really interesting that we learned the hard way. We didn't get the salespeople involved in the selling of options at first. In fact, I'm so brilliant that I decided to drop the commissions on the salespeople selling options because the designers were selling it. I could save $1 million by doing that. It cost us way more than that. It was really stupid. We did that for 6 months, and we switched. I said, this is not going to work. We're going to give our salesmen full commission, even though they're not selling the option. And what happened is, at that point, we said, we need to get them involved in the selling process. Just as in the selling process, you cite your customer, and you greet them, and you qualify them, and you close them. Showing them what their finalized, personalized house looks like is equally important as all those. It might be more important. When women are making 90% of their buying decisions, they want to know what that house is going to look like. That's way more important than what the garage is like, or the mortgage payment, or anything like that. So we're looking at what things can we do. So we have a thing we call it Browse Night. We got to change the name anyway. So we invite people to our design center every other Thursday from 5 to 8, and we have catered, and it's great. And in the heyday, when things were really busy, we were getting 100 people there, and we would sell houses. The salespeople would come, they'd meet their buyers, they'd do appointments. It was a good way in which to close the sale of the house, not in the sales office, but in our showpiece, in our showpiece design center. And it's been phenomenal. And as we say to other builders, well, why don't you just do that? Well, the designers don't really want to work at night. Huh? Really?
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, they don't want to work at night. Okay. And they don't do it. Or one builder said, well, I'm doing the Browse Night, but I'm doing it during the day. And why do it? Don't bother. Anyway, we've had huge success. We sell 150 homes a year because of Browse Night, that the salesman comes and closes that buyer. Okay? You want to sell an extra 150 homes a year? Just do Browse Nights. People want a great selection of merchandise. You can give them packages, and you can tone it down and things like that, and they want things like good, better, best. One of the biggest challenges we have with manufacturers is to get them a program and a platform that they can lay out good, better, best. There's a place for the guy to go. So you want your included thing to be good, or your standard features, and then you want your next level to be better, and then you want to have best. So that's why you carry Wolf and Sub-Zero and Bertazzoni and Anderson Tuftex and all the the high-price things, as well as the medium price.
I will tell you one big difference, because your design center is managed and run by ILG, and it's been there for a long time. I've probably been to it 20 times or more.
Yeah. We haven't kicked you out yet.
I know. Well,
We're working on it.
I just keep coming for the free snacks on Browse Night. I'm pretending I'm a buyer.
And good wine.
But the one impact that I do have there that I don't see in other builder design center offerings, you do have like these Bertazzoni and the Moen, I can't remember what it's called, voice activated shower system, something or other it's called, whatever. They have these really high-end options that lends a halo effect to them as a builder. I don't know that you sell any of those high-end showers or any of the Bertazzoni.
We sell a few, but not enough to justify it.
But the halo effect of being there and seeing these incredible quality products makes me feel like everything that you offer has been thoughtfully curated.
Yeah.
And I don't see that in a lot of other design centers. The best is maybe a more expensive GE profile oven.
Right.
But it's not a marquee product.
Right. So we have the Moen. It's the Moen U.
Oh, is that what it's
called?
Yeah.
And it's voice activated. You can say, turn on my shower, and it's to 100 degrees, and it does it automatically. And we have that in the design center. So it's kind of cool. So we can demo that, and people are amazed. We use the whole thing as number one, retail. So we say we're a retail store, and we try to give that buyer a great retail experience.
Experiential.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, let's see. Oh, have a pretty good online system that buyers use and love. Now, there's a bunch of them out there. We use the one called Envision, and we've used them very successfully for the last 18 years. It's been a long time. We were Tim's only customer at one point. We joke about that.
It's not very funny, actually.
It is funny.
No, it's not funny.
But the online system is so important. In fact, we were talking the other day, and somebody asked me, if you had to give up one, the online system or the 13,000 square foot design center, which would you give up? Well, I wouldn't want to give up either of them, okay? But if someone put a gun to my head, I'd say, I'll get rid of the physical one.
Right, you have to have the digital one.
Right, they have to have the digital one. Now, if you don't have a digital design center, you're missing the boat completely. And it's not that hard to do. It's not that expensive. And it just makes all the difference in the world. Your reach to customers is 50 times more than people walking through your models, 100 times more. There's so many people, and we track everything. We monitor everything. We make sure everything is there, and we know exactly what buyers are looking at and things like that. And if and there's other things out there. If you don't want to use Envision, use one of the other ones because they're all good and they're way better than not telling buyers what you're carrying. And that's what you're doing if you don't have a digital design center.
Especially with millennials now and Gen Z, it's a non-starter.
Oh yeah. You're pretty much eliminated from the search. When buyers look at houses, they really, the first thing they look at, of course, is online, and they eliminate people, and they won't even see the buyer. They won't even visit. They'll never visit your sales office because they want to make sure they've got enough information. Now, I talk to builders and they go, we don't want to give our buyers too much information because then there's no reason to come into our office. And this is 2022, almost 2023. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If you're in 1980 before the internet or something, that might make sense, but not today. And we've got to get our heads out of the clouds and be realistic. With today's millennial buyer, they won't even visit you. You're not even in the running. You're dead. Okay.
It's sales and marketing making the decisions.
So this is one of my pet peeves is some digital design centers and design centers are run by purchasing people, and purchasing people, they're nice, and there's a need for them, and they need to keep score, but option selling is not a purchasing function. It's a sales and marketing function. So the option sales and your digital design center and your physical design center really have to fall under sales and marketing. They can't fall under purchasing. And so many builders fail by not doing that. And it's a travesty.
Well, I think the organizational responsibility of where options profits report is a huge problem in our industry.
Yeah.
Because depending on where they report, then everybody else says, well, that's not my job.
Right.
And then it gets to be hard because implementing one of these systems requires everybody to participate. You got to have sales and marketing and purchasing and operations.
Right.
And, all of these folks have to get behind it. And I think some of the organizational structural issues we have in our industry cause this specific area to be challenging to really accelerate from a digital standpoint.
Yeah. So have a fun atmosphere that gets your buyers excited. So this is a browse night, and we just try to have fun. We got a lot of people there. What's better? So we have 9 kitchens in our design center. So when you have a party, where does everyone congregate, right? They congregate in the kitchen, right? So we have 9 of them. And we have hors d'oeuvres, and sometimes we have drinks, but that kind of gets out of hand sometimes, so we're careful on that. We had one guy that was just sloshed, and that wasn't him. But we really have a good time, and the buyers, so when we have a browse night, the buyers, we're not asking them for a check. We're not asking them to make any decisions. We're saying, let's take a look at this design center, because we carry a lot of options, okay? And it's overwhelming when you have a 13,000 square foot design center. It's big, you know, it takes you a while to get through it. We want to make it so it's less intimidating, and so they really understand kind of where we're at and what that experience is like. And we need to get them excited. We need to make sure that they're really having a good time, because we're in the entertainment business. We really are. Okay. And we're a store. So here's a little graph that we did. And so the first one is Apple, and they're the highest dollars per square foot store in the country. And then we've got Murphy USA, which is a convenience store, mostly in the Midwest. And then third is Fulton's Design Center, and we do $3,500 a square foot. It's pretty good. And then we have
Tiffany's,
Tiffany.
Lululemon, Nordstrom's. Think about that. You're doing 7 times
right, the volume of
the volume of Nordstrom's,
per
which is
square foot.
considered one of the best retailers in the country. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just astonishing.
Yeah.
Hence why we're really in the retail business, and we need to take our responsibility as retailers seriously.
Yeah. So that's our story. We, if you use all of these 10 things, you're gonna hit a home run. You know, as I told Tim, and so we're doing 45 million. We did this year. We did 45 million last year. We did 45 million the year before, and we did 50 million the year before that. So we're pretty consistent, and all at a 30% margin. Oh, by the way, there's no expenses.